Zombie apocalypse.
Hi, hello. This is my second video, as many people are requesting to know that pseudocode instead of Python. So I want to make this video for you. And this previous material, of course, you know the solution for May, June, the students who are going to appear on May, June 2021. And here I'm going to explain you how the pseudocode, just a pseudocode, and I will show the output also in some other language. So no need to think about any language. Those who know the pseudocode, you can do that one. And I think we can go into the class. So first, three things we are going to discuss. One is understanding the pre-release material. First, we must know what really happening. And in this video, I'm not going to explain much about that understanding pre-release material, as I explained much better in my first video. I will add that description in this video itself, in this class. And if you want to know more about the background, how it is working, line by line explanation, you can just listen to that one, and then you can continue here. And we are going to write a program or a pseudocode. Here I'm going to use a pseudocode only instead of program for each task, and we are going to test using the program. Of course, using the program only we can test it, so that I will show you. And directly I just briefly only I'm going to explain how this understanding, not line by line in the pre-release material. Again, if you want line by line explanation, please watch my first video, which is in the description. So after reading everything, the pre-release material, I made this table. So I consider it as a train, 4 trains. There are 4 trains, and train 1 travel up journey is at 9 o'clock and down at 10 o'clock. And each train has 6 coaches, and each coach has 80 seats. So only total seats I just referred as 6 cross 80. And but the last train, that is 4th train, which is coming back at 4 o'clock, it has 2 extra coaches. So we can consider it as 8 times 80, so it will be 640 seats. So I just made it as a train time up journey and its total seat, its downtime and its total seats. So I'm going to make the task also in the pseudocode also in these correct order. So when I made like this, so you can see the train number, up time, and its total seats, down time and its total seats. Let's go into the next things we have to understand. The train times are displayed on large screen together with the number of tickets still available for each train. So if you go any station, the display screen will be the train details will be the, so the train details with the train number, what time it will start and what time it will departure, these things will be there. And we have to tell that cost also. Cost, of course, it is $25. So for one way journey is cost is 25 journey, for 2-way journey is $50. And each time a ticket is booked on the it have to be update. Suppose any group passengers will be 10 ticket is sold out, means the 10 ticket has to be minused in that display. So those explanation about the whole thing I gave in the first video. I don't want to waste that time. Just we can directly go into the pseudocode. So here we have to remember, if the train is full, if 480 seats I told, right, in each train except the last train, if 480 seats are sold out, the word closed has to be displayed, so that the other people, the passenger should not purchase. They should not tell that this train I need, because already it is closed. These things only you have to remember when we are displaying the screen. So first, the task 1 is very easy, but we need to have that in all the task 1, task 2, task 3, what are the variables we are going to use, how we are, this full structure has to be in your mind when you are doing the task 1. So write a program to set up a screen display. So I told, right, we have to display the screen at the start of the day. Start of the day, it has to tell the train or how many trains are there, its time and its time journey. That if you display is okay now, and number of seats in each train, that only we are going to display. So when you are doing that one, you have to initialize suitable data structures. So you have to initialize all the variables. If any thing you have to initialize, you have to initialize it. You have to declare the variables, and clearly they told total passenger for each train journey and total money taken for each train journey also you have to initialize. Means that these two things we are going to use in task 2 and task 3 only, but now itself we have to declare and initialize. And each train journey must be totaled separately, so you have to keep it separate variable for this up journey as well as down journey. So they clearly given 4 up journey and 4 down journey, so we have to make it separate variable to store these values. So of course it is more than one, and we are going to use the array. I think everyone know about the array. If anyone don't know the array, so in my next video I'm going to update how the array declaration, how the array will be calculated, those things I will update. So those who don't know the array, you can look at that video in my next video. But now if those who have the idea about the array, it is easy to follow. So first task 1, we have to declare all the variables and initialize. If it need, we have to initialize. So first thing is, you can see here I made it as the train timing first. Okay, this is for journey up time. So you can see here journey up time. So this is up journey time. So first index, it refers to train 1. So in everywhere it is train 1. This is train 2. This is train 3. Okay, and this is train 4. So you can, for every variable it is every array it is there. So this is one dimensional array, and I declare it as integer so that I can easy. If you want to make it as string, anything we can do, but integer is most easily, most of the programming language will accept. So I just made it as integer. So here this first train travel up at 9, travel down at 10. Second train travel up at 11 and travel down at 12. Third train travel up at travel up at 1 o'clock and travel down at 2 o'clock. And fourth train travel at 3 o'clock up and come down at 4 o'clock. So you can imagine this train 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, right? So this is train 1, train 2, train 3, train 4. I didn't add any train number, it will be quite confusing. So I'm going to use the index. So index means if 1 is the train number 1, so that index itself I'm going to use a train number, and 2 is the train number 2. This index itself I'm going to use as a train number, so that we no need to add one more variables to store the train number. So it's more easy for us. And this variable, this array variable I declared to make up passengers, means how many passengers traveled up. Now no one, right? So just I'm initializing the 4 things as 0. And this is for how many passengers travel down, that also I initialized with 0. And this total up seat means how many total seat available in the train 1. So total seats. So total, how many total seats are there in this while traveling up. So we already know, right? There are 6 coaches and 80 seats. So 6 cross 80, we got 480. And they told all the train has 6 coaches, so all the train has, in up journey all the train has 480. But while down journey, only the last train has extra 2 coaches. So 8 coaches and 8 into 80, already I told that 640 seat is there. You can see that also clearly we explained here. So while down journey, it has 2 extra coaches, so 640 seat is available. So we done the time, up time, down time, and we declared 2 variables, that is for to store how many passengers traveled up, how many passengers traveled down. And we already, what the given information is total seats in while traveling up and down, and we have to calculate the money up and down. So now it is 0 and 0, everything we are initialized, and total money. So we declare all the variables like that. And then any These two things we are going to use in task 2 only, but we have to initialize here. This is a travel, the directions, dir direction means we have to store these things in task 3 to find out which train travels in which direction, those things. And this cost is one way cost, I make it as constant. So one way cost is $25. In that, in your things it is given, it's $25. So two-way cost is $50. Okay, two-way cost is $50. And other thing, these are other variables I'm going to use in my program. So just what are the variables I'm going to use, everything we declare, not only for task 1, for all task 3. But when you're writing task 1, the must is these variables, these declarations, and these two declaration is must. If you're not forget to write this line, okay, this normal declaring variables, if you forgot also no problem, but you must write these two, and this one way cost constants, and these things is must. Okay, don't forget, these thing is must in task 1, because task 1 is just declaration and display. And here these total passengers used to store how many passengers travel on the day. So this whole pre-release material, it's just for one day. In one day, how it is calculating how many trains are traveled, come, go and come back, and how they are calculating money. So those things. So total passengers, here we are going to use that. And day total I am giving here total money earned on that day. To store that, I declare the variable at 0. So next thing, of one thing we finished. Next one is we have to display, just a display screen. So in display screen, first I have to make it is a display screen. And what are the things? The headings, I want to display the headings. So this will tell you the headings. First is the train number, and you can see the train number, and uptime means up journey time, that is 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, that one. And in that train, how many seats is available, in that up passengers, how many up passengers. Now these things will come 0, right? Total seat 480, this will come 0. And down time maybe 10 for train 1 I'm telling. And down seat is 480 now, total seat. But down passenger now it is 0 starting. After that we will update. And total money. So I didn't display this up money, down money, so no need to display those things. This total money also not needed, actually it is not must here. Just to show you that those things are initialized, I just added. If in task 1, if you didn't add this point, this line also, no problem. And how we can use, of course, when you are using the array, we need to use the loops, any loops. So for loop is more convenient, so I am using for loop. To know the clearly, so I made it in different color. You can see this count variable I'm going to use. So remember, this count variable only we are going to make it as train number. So train number, it start with 1, 2, 4, like that I'm going to display. So first that display, we have to display the train number is count. You can see here count. And uptime of count means this uptime. So I didn't change away here also, so no confusion will be there, easily you can understand. So uptime means this first, if it is first one, it will tell its time and its total seat and how many passengers travel up to now, and downtime, and how many total seats in down journey, and how many down passengers are there now, and total money. So we have to end the for loop. So next count, this is in pseudocode, right? Up to this is task 1. Task 1 is finished. Before going to the task 2, I will show you the output of task 1. You can use any way, any languages, VB, JavaScript, or anything to see the output. Whatever language you are practicing in your school, that you can do. Now the output has to be like this is better. See, this is the display screen. You can see, right? Display screen, train number 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the uptime. Uptime means this train 1 traveled at 9 o'clock. In that 480 seat is available now, and now no passengers, so it's 0. Downtime is at 10 o'clock. Now down seat is 480, so no one is passengers. So down passenger, no one is there here. And total money, now it's 0. So for like that, I displayed all 4 train details. This display is, you can imagine, this display in your that in train station, okay, railway station. And next, the task 2, when compared to task 1, task 2 is little bit confusing. It's not confusing, too many works, so many validations are there. So what are the things we have to do? So we have to, tickets can be purchased, we have to purchase the ticket, right? It will be single passenger or group passenger, and when making the purchase, check that the number of tickets for the required train journey up and down the mountain is available. Suppose if I want to purchase, I have to check whether the train the ticket is available to that particular train. If it is not available, it has to give some error message, or it has to ask any other train you have to choose. And if ticket available and every validation is okay, it has to calculate the total price including the group discount, and you have to update it and you have to display the screen. So here that group ticket I have to explain. Here what they told, the group ticket, what the condition they told means, here they in that, in your previous meet it is given that if the group ticket is 10 to 80 inclusive, both 10 to 80, more than, because total passenger, total seat in each coach is 80, so maximum 80. So those who are traveling, they if they are purchasing a group ticket, they have to travel in the same coach. That is one condition they gave. So 10 to 80 only they are allowing for group ticket. For these people, they have to purchase the ticket, they will get the discount. What type of discounts? If 10 people are traveling, if 10 passengers together traveling together in same coach, they have to pay money for only 9 passengers. Means that the last 1 passenger can travel free. Like that, if 20 passengers are traveling, how many passengers we will get free ticket? For 2 passengers we will get the free ticket. Okay, so this calculation we have to make when it is a group group ticket. That is also, it has to be 10 to 80. More than 80 also they won't get discount. Less than 10 also they won't get discount. Suppose if 200 people are coming means, 280 people are coming means, they have to make 80 different tickets means they will get the discount. It's depend upon them when they are traveling. So these things you have to remember while doing the calculations. Again I will explain in that line also. So first one, we started this one because it is for one day. So this do I am using here. After you can see in blue color what are things is, that is in loop. For loop I am using blue color, and all the input and output and selection statement I am using in yellow, so that you can easily understand. So this do that while loop will end at the end of the task 2, so that again you want to purchase the ticket, it will repeat. Okay, now first they are telling, first we have to enter number of passengers. So this is output statement, input statement with prompting message. So enter the number of passengers for the journey, and this do while, this is for validation. This do while we are giving for validation. Okay. So what are the things we are validating? Here this is the validation. So what are the things we are validating? First we need to validate the person. What are the train numbers I told? That 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the train numbers. We are considering these are the train numbers, right? So first we are validating, we are getting the input in journey up, okay? And we are updating this into that up passenger, how many passengers are there. In that we are adding, suppose already here 0 plus number of passengers, the value will be added and it is added in that array. Okay, but it will come out when that it will come out of the loop. It is checking whether you entered, whether it is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. For that only we are checking whether this upjoin is less than 1 or greater than 4. Means if you enter 0 or any negative numbers other than 4, other than these 4, if you enter 5, 6 something, again it will repeat, because while loop will repeat if it is true. So if it is true, it will repeat. This is one condition, means I am checking whether the train the entered train number is correct or not. Okay, this is for up journey. And then after that this is okay. Suppose you entered rightly, and I have to check whether seat is available or not. So total seat is here. I'm checking if the total seat is not available. How we will check? If the number of passengers, this updated passenger we are giving, right, the updated passenger is greater than this total seat, means there is no enough money is there, right, enough seat is there. So automatically it has to ask a new, again it has to ask you to select a new train. So two things we are validating. One is whether they enter the right train number, and second condition it is checking whether enough ticket is available or not. And this is for starting that up journey. Then down journey also. So once it is correct, it is coming out of the loop, means it is correct. So with that update message I am updating, just we are adding that one, so that it is updating in that array. And next one is we have to do the same thing for return train also. But for return train, one more condition we have to find out. Here we can see, first one is I'm checking, this first condition is to check whether the seat is available or not. What we enter, that total seat is available or not. And second condition is, as from the departure train, whether they enter the right train number or not, whether it is 1 to 4 or not. And last one we are checking whether this, you can see, right, downtime is less than the uptime, means that they are checking whether they selected the right train after the up journey. So why they are very important condition, this one is, we know, suppose take for example train 1, okay, this train 1 up journey time is 9 and it is coming down at 10. So you remember that one, this is time. And train 2 up journey time is at 11 and it coming down at 12 o'clock. Like this for train 2, train 3 and train 4. Suppose I chose travel up. I chose travel up as train 2. Okay. So in train 2, I'm going up. And to come down, they told you can choose any train which is after this train 2. So any train I can choose, whether train 3, train 4 or train 2. But I cannot able to choose train 1 because the train 1 coming down time is 10. So that only it is checking. The time has to be, journey up train has to be less than the journey down train. If it is greater, we cannot, that selection of train is wrong. So if I travel in train 2, I can travel down in train 2 or train 3 or train 4, but I cannot able to travel down in train 1. So this only it is checking in the last validation. So I'm checking very easily that downtime is less than journey up. If it is less, means again it will repeat and it will ask for the to choose the right train journey, okay, for down. And then after, if it is coming out of the loop, means it is correctly validated, the 3 validation is done. So I am updating the value to the down passenger plus number of passengers we are updating. Now 2 things we done. We got the number of tickets and then we validated departure train as well as return train. Then next we have to calculate the cost, right? And we have to update the values into the down passengers. So here these two lines we are updating the down passengers, and down passengers means we are minusing. What we are doing, this minus, we are just here total seats, number of passengers we are minusing here. How many seats is available from the total, that we have to minus these 2. You can see these 2 is we are minusing the total seats. So available seat has to be changed. If anyone 480 seat is there, means 80 seat is purchased, means remaining seat has to be it has to show as 400. So that only is doing here, these 2 down and up total seats, it is minus from the number of passengers. And here you can see this is updation for this one. After finishing that, we are updating the number of passenger, how much passengers are there here. Now after that, this updated screen, we have to calculate the cost, and then we have to update the display screen has to do. This is calculation of the cost of the ticket. So cost of the ticket I already told, right? If it is a group ticket, means if it is greater than equal to 10 inclusive, they given 10, 80 inclusive they gave in the question. So greater than equal to 10 and less than equal to 80 means we have to, one way cost is already $25. We already constant, we initialized that one, right? So this total passenger, how we can find out? We are finding out the free ticket. So this part, it is calculating the number of free tickets. So how it will calculate the free tickets? So take for example 20 people is traveling, means I already told 2 ticket is free. How they exactly it will give? So number of passenger here 20, right? So if it is 20 divided by 10, it will give the value 2. So these 2 number of passengers here, 20 minus 2, we will get 8. So 18 passengers only we are calculating. These 2 passengers, it is already minus. 2 passengers are going to travel free, and this only for 18 passengers I am calculating the cost, that is discounted cost we are calculating. If it is not within 10 to 80 means normally we are multiplying with the cost. This is cost for up journey, not only one way cost we are calculating. After calculating, we have to update it with the up journey, down journey separately. So here in discounted cost, in one way cost only $25 if it is multiplied, and that is added to the up money as well as the down money. Okay. Then we calculated, we validated, we calculated that train ticket, how many cost is. Now we have to display it. So we can display that all the updated things, and here just heading we are going to display the same order. So instead of uptime, here total seat, it will be available seat. Okay, so the same array we are going to display, because already we are updating everything into the arrays. So of course we have to use a for loop. So here in for loop, inside the for loop we are calculating the total money, because already we calculated this money for up as well as down cost. So total money inside the loop, I don't want to use separate loop, I am going to use the same loop. So in this total money I am calculating up money plus down money, I am adding and storing into the total money, so that it will be updated for each train 1, 2, 3, 4. And here they told this if statement will be giving when if the total seat is greater than 0, because they gave already, we discussed, if the seats fully, this up total seat is fully sold out, means you have to display closed. Okay, so if it is fully if it is not full, if it is not equal to 0, or if it is not, it is greater than 0 means some seat is available, means it has to show all the things in on the order. So first we are displaying all the things in order, means any train's full seat is not sold out, that time this if statement will work. Next one, if one seat, and this if statement, the first if statement, this print, right, this first if statement will done if the total cost is 0, means if any one of the train, if any train, train 1, train 2, train 3, if the total up seat only 0 means in that place closed has to come. So instead of that, instead of displaying how many seats are available, total seats, it has to display closed. So for that, this if statement I am using, because we cannot add this closed into the array, because array we can is unique collections. If integer means integer only we can able to store, we cannot able to store closed. So if it is 0, in that place it is 0 means we have to display closed. So if up total seat is 0, that place only means closed is there. If down seat is 0, You can see here down seat is 0 but up seat is not 0, means in down seat closed has to display. Other thing is as it is same. And if other than this both up and down seat are 0, means in both the place closed has to display. For that we are placing this one, and these things will be done inside the loop, and loop is in here. So this will done, this just display the screen with closed or without closed is depend upon. So this will run for the 4 trains. And then I already told we added one loop, right? Do while. The do while is now here. Do while if you enter 0, so I clearly given here, please enter 0 to continue. And this choice I'm getting, if you enter the 0, if it is 0, this again it will repeat, means again it will get the input from you, and again it will calculate the cost, and then it will display. So this will done the whole day. For that this loop is given. Up to this, task 2 is over. So let me see the output, how it is working, all the validation is working or not, we can check it. Okay, so here already we can run again. So this is the task 1. So I will show you how the validation is working. First I am entering some passenger, number of passengers 10. Okay, and then train number of journey up. So I told, right, first condition is we have to enter only 1 2 3 4 only, but if I enter more other than these 4, it will again as the same train number. Suppose I am entering 6, what will happen? Again it is axing, means that validation is working for the up journey train. So next one, it has to check the number of tickets available or not, right? So already I entered 10, means actually it will work. So in second input I will show the second things whether it is working or not. So now I can choose the train 1, and here train 2, first one normally I will update. Okay, now the display screen you can see here. So train 1 up journey, so up journey 10 seats, so 480 only available, 470 only available. So how many passengers travel? 10 passengers traveled up, and their total money we calculate. I display only total money, right? Up money, down money, yet I have separate array, I didn't display it. And you can see here ticket, how many tickets. So 10 ticket means 450, actually 500 after discount you are getting, because one person will travel free. So we can able to see the discount also calculated correctly, and ticket details also it is given. So if I want to continue, I will continue, then we can check whether the next train, the next validation is working or not. Now I want to show if total seat is finished, how it is working. So here we can see 470, right? So this time I'm going to enter number of passengers is 470, ticket I need, and I have to choose train 1. This time any train I can choose. Okay, you can choose train 4. Okay, train 4, like that. So you can see automatically 470, so 480 passengers closed it is displaying. This to display this only we are using that for if statement in display. Okay, whether it is updated also, actually in that place 0 will be there. Instead of 0 I want to display close, it is displaying the close. So total passenger traveled is 480, so all the passengers traveled 480 is already filled. And now down means it is available, but up there is no availability is there. So that validation also it is working, right? The closed, those things. So next again I'm giving, now it is closed, right? So I want to enter suppose 20 seats. Okay, 20 seats. Now we know that in train 1 there is no seat is available. Suppose without seeing that I'm giving train 1, so you can see that validation is working. So number of tickets is 20, but here there is no ticket is available, so we have to choose some other train. So this time I'm choosing train 2. I'm traveling up, train 2 means 11 o'clock I'm going to travel up, and train down, I already told another one important condition we have to check when you are choosing the return train. It has to be, if I choose a train 2, I can choose train 2, 3 or 4 to return, because I'm traveling up in train 2. But if I am choosing train 1, the timing is not matching, right? Because this train 1 is coming down at 10 o'clock itself. I cannot travel down at 10 o'clock if I travel up at 11 o'clock. So if I give that one, that validation also it is checking. You can see the train, again it is asking to give the right train number. So I need to choose some other train. So I can choose some other train, suppose third train I can choose. Now you can see in train 2 I traveled, right? In train 2 I traveled 20 passengers, and I traveled down at train 3. So in train 3 20 passengers are there. So this it will continue until I press 0. Other than 0, if I press, it will end. Okay, the task 2 will be end. Now we can go to see the task 3. So in task 3, end of the day. So end of the day, what are the things we have to find out? We have to display the number of passengers that traveled on each train journey. That already we are displaying in task 2. And also total money. These two already we are displaying. Okay, the same thing we have to for each train journey. So that menu we are displaying. So no problem in that. Already we done that one in task 2 itself. And we have to calculate and display total number of passengers and total amount of money. These two variables we already initialized in task 1. So we have to find out how many passengers travel on that day, how much amount of money taken on that day. Next, we have to find out most passengers traveled train. So in which train most passengers traveled. So that these two things we have to calculate in task 3. These things we already calculated, so no need to worry about the first point. So let's check how we can do. So this we can initialize 0 or any negative numbers, so that already we know if we want to find out the maximum numbers, maximum seats, means we have to initialize with the least value, right? So like that I'm initializing it with the least value. This just I want to print the heading, already we done, right? So just I'm changing that heading only. Instead of total seat, I'm making it available seat. I'm saying up traveled, how many passengers travel down, how many passengers travel up, and how many money earned for traveling up, and money earned down, and total money. So what they ask, that only I'm going to display. For that I have to use the for loop. So in this for loop you can see for count train number I can use the count. Here traveled up, how many passengers traveled up, means in that up passengers, in that array I can give down passenger, up money, down money, total money. These things already we are updated, right? Just that variable, that array if you put, it enough. And here the day total, already this day total is initialized to 0 in task 1. If you need, you can show here in task 3 also. And that day total is, this is running total. So from which we have to add this total money. This total money is the right. This total money we have to add to find out total money earned in that day. And total passenger, of course total passenger is not only one way, this two way, right? So up passenger plus down passenger, both we are adding, and then we are updating with the total passengers. These two are running totals. So running totals we are calculated, and the same for loop I'm using to find out which train traveled the most. So here up passengers, first we have to find out in up passenger is greater than highest. So now it is initialized 0, the first value first it will be stored, and I have to store the train number. So this most passenger train number I'm storing. So here the count is the train number, right? 1 2 3. So the train number I'm storing. And direction, this I already told, right, in task 1 to store the direction. So this is up direction, because up passenger, up direction. Like that we have to find out for down passenger also we have to find, because they are asking which train in which journey it has the most passengers travel. So I have to find out two if statement. One is for up journey. Now the same thing I have to use for down journey also. highest equal to this greater than means highest equal to down passenger. So this if statement, everything is inside the for loop. And then now the for loop is end. So in this for loop, what are these we done? We display all the details, plus we calculated the most passengers traveled, and now we have to print total passengers of the day and total money earned on that day, and which train the most passengers traveled, the train number, and in which direction it is, so direction also we are giving. And here I am giving the how many passengers, the highest how many passengers are traveled, those details also given. Okay, let's see in that output how it look like. So here already task 2 is finished. So task 3, if I press other than 0 any number, it will give the task 3, automatically the task 3 will be done. So just I pressing some other number other than 0. So task 3 details you can see here. See here, this uptime, here you can see, right, this uptime, it is closed. So after pressing 1, what will happen? How many passengers traveled up here? 480 passengers traveled up. Down, no one is there. How much money earned up? Down, no one is there, because no one traveled in down means no money earned. Only up it earned money. For like that, for each train details it is here. So these only up passenger 480, 20, 00. Here you can see down 480, 470, right? So here down passenger 0, 10, 20, 470. Those things it is there. And money earned for up and down is separately given, and total money. And then total passengers traveled today is 1000. 1000 means these two things is added. 480 plus 20 plus 10 plus 20 plus 470. 1000 passengers travel on that day. And total money generated on that day means these 4 things if we add, we will get this value 24,000. It is coming, right, something. And we can see how many passengers traveled most. So you can see here which one in these 8 values, which is the biggest value. 480 is the biggest value. So very nicely it is found out. Train with the most passenger is train 1, and traveled up, the direction is up, because in up, right, in up travel with 480 passengers. That's it. Our program is finished, and it is very, very clear, right? Very easy also when you are writing the pseudocode. And another one, those who are not familiar with the programming, to see the output you can use any program. Suppose those who are not that much confident to write your pre-release material in any programming language, you can able to use this pseudocode is more better, but you have to understand when you are writing. Then only, if small error also, you cannot able to memorize. You should not memorize this one. You have to understand line by line, then it is easy for you. And I just give you the best of luck that you all have to get very good marks in this O level. And first you practice task 1, task 2, task 3 separately without seeing. Just you, by seeing that pre-release material question, you can just practice that one. Okay. And then in my next video, we are going to discuss possible questions. What type of questions will come? For each questions, how we can answer. So those things I'm going to upload hereafter with only with the pseudocodes, because the pseudocode means easy, anyone can able to listen. If I choose any one language, it is difficult for the students who are doing that language if they are not using that programming language. So I'm going to upload with the pseudocode only. We are going to discuss for task 1 what are the questions will come, how to answer those things. With this pseudocode we are going to discuss. In my next video you can do. Those who are not subscribe, please subscribe, so that you will get suddenly notification if any possible questions coming. And if anyone need any particular topic in paper 1 or paper 2, if you have any confusions, if you want any clarifications, if you comment in that in my comment window, so that that particular topic I will explain. I think you will all enjoy this one, and we can meet in the next next video. Let's say bye.